Anastasia. A few years after Bolshevik assassins herded Tsar Nicholas II and his wife and 5 children into a cellar and opened fire upon them in July of 1918, a lady who called herself Anna Anderson surfaced in Europe, claiming to be Tsar's youngest daughter, Anastasia. She said that she had been carried from the execution site by mysterious benefactors. Though rejected by Romanov relatives, her saga was sufficiently intriguing that Hollywood made it into a 1956 movie starring Ingrid Bergman. Rumors persisted that the young heiress to the throne had somehow escaped death, but in 1991, the mystery took another turn when it was revealed that the bodies of most of the Romanovs and their servants lay in a mass grave somewhere in Russia, but the bodies of a male and female child were missing. That faint hope that Anastasia had escaped was crushed in 2007 when archaeologists discovered a second grave containing 2 more youthful sets of bones. Like the first set, the new bones were matched with a sample of Nicholas II's DNA, which had been extracted from bloodstains on a shirt worn during an 1891 assassination attempt. With all the Romanovs accounted for, it's now clear that Anastasia died with her family. The Umbrella Man. One of the weirdest enigmas of the 1963 assassination of President John F. Kennedy in Dallas was the presence of the Umbrella Man. This blurry figure is seen in photographs raising a black umbrella along the presidential route, even though the sky was clear. Some saw him as a proof of conspiracy, an advanced man who was signaling the sniper. Others, however, suspected that he might actually be an assassin himself, firing a poison dart gun concealed in his parasol. But when the United States House of Representatives reopened the JFK investigation in the late 1970s, a 53-year-old Dallas warehouse manager named Louis Stephen Witt came forward and testified that he was the Umbrella Man. Granted, his explanation was a bit bizarre. Witt disliked JFK's father, former US Ambassador to the United Kingdom, Joseph P. Kennedy, whom he faulted for supporting British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain's appeasement policies towards Hitler. Chamberlain's trademark was his ever-present umbrella, and Witt chose that day to brandish a big conspicuous one in an effort to needle the president. He brought along a visual aid to the hearing, a battered black umbrella that he claimed was the one he'd used that day. A committee staffer popped it open to reveal that it didn't contain a weapon. Sailing stones. Since the 1940s, people have been scratching their heads about the apparently strange going on in a dry lake bed in Death Valley called the Racetrack Playa. There, every 10 years or so, stones as big as 700 pounds or 318 kilograms mysteriously seem to move around on their own, leaving long tracks behind them in the parched desert surface. Over the years, various explanations from dust devils to films of slippery algae have been proposed, but none of them seem too convincing. Finally though, in 2011, researchers from Scripps Institution of Oceanography at the University of California, San Diego, decided to solve the enigma. Since the National Park Service wouldn't allow them to attach GPS devices to the rocks themselves, they brought in 15 similarly sized pieces of stone and monitored them. It took 2 years, but they finally got the answer. In winter time, the playa sometimes fills up with a thin layer of water from rainfall, which freezes overnight and forms thin sheets of ice. When the sun comes out the next day, the ice melts and cracks into panels that light winds then blow across the ice, carrying the rocks with them. But the stones typically slide at a speed of only a few inches per second, slowly enough that visitors can't really see the movement from a distance. The Tunguska Blast. On June the 30th of 1908, a fireball streaked through the Siberian sky, followed by an enormous explosion that leveled 770 square miles of remote forest. Scientists later calculated that the Tunguska event, named after a nearby river, released an amount of energy 1,000 times greater than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima in 1945. It took researchers until 1927 to reach the remote site, and the inability to find a clear-cut impact crater or pieces of a meteor led to some fanatic theories, including scenarios involving antimatter and UFOs. Others suspected that Earth had been struck by a comet. Since a comet is basically a ball of ice, it wouldn't have left a trace. But in 2007, a team of Italian researchers used acoustic imaging to identify the crater, which turned out to be in a lake 5 miles north of the spot originally identified by scientists. Ukrainian researchers then proved that the Tunguska was in fact caused by a meteor, according to a 2013 article in Planetary and Space Science. They analyzed samples of peat dating from that summer and found they contained fragments of minerals found in meteorites, as well as lonsdaleite, a substance known to form from shock waves following an explosion. Just as significant, the combination of all these elements was nearly identical to a meteor impact site in Arizona. So that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like. Until the next video, goodbye.